Welcome to this AM Suppliers Insight with Car Care Plan. I'm Emma Turner, Deputy Editor of AM, and here with me we have Simon Cook, Sales Director at Car Care Plan. Now, as many will know, Car Care Plan is a major supplier of warranty and insurance products, and now almost 50 years since it began, it works with major dealerships, perhaps 30 vehicle brands, and 2,000 motor retailers. Okay, hello Simon, welcome.
Hi Amy.
So why do you think the current market conditions make it even more important for dealerships to have a focus on warranty and add-on insurance products?
Current market conditions are kind of exceptional, really. We've had, I think, a kind of, they used to say in politics a week was a long time. I think in the automotive industry, a weekday is a long time. There's been a perfect storm of change, really, from the macro environment and especially the geopolitical sphere, looking at technology, looking at evolving customer behaviors, looking at regulation and compliance. So we've had this unprecedented level of change. And I think about kind of post-pandemic, obviously we had soaring inflation, and industry inflation was obviously some way ahead of headline inflation as well. Interest rates to then check that, and then obviously we had a raft of politically motivated changes with employer NIC increases. We had tariff application, changes to the ZEV mandate. We've had supply chain disruptions, which seem to be an ever-present now these days in the automotive industry. The constant threat of cyber, and there are obviously a number of companies that have been impacted by cyber attacks, and now, of course, we have the evolving conflict in the Middle East and potential impact on oil. So I think that's checked confidence and optimism levels generally in the economy. I think consumers are still nervous and uncertain about major purchases, and that's had an impact on retail sales activity. I would say also the evidence, I guess, backs it up from the data that the SMMT produced recently. People are holding on to their cars longer. So pre-COVID, I think we were sub 8. Now, last year, 9.5 years. So there is uncertainty. And I think all these things are combined to give people in the industry the feeling that it's increasingly hard to exert any influence over our trading environment and over the planning process, which makes it really, really difficult. So having said all that, I guess it heightens the importance of focusing on the customer in front of us, if you will, whether new or used, understanding the lifetime value of that customer. And I think customers generally, when they make a motor purchase and they're buying a new or used car, they accept their running costs associated with that vehicle. They accept that things could go wrong. No one likes to think about that, but it does happen and we all acknowledge it. So it makes it increasingly important to explain to a customer the ways they can protect themselves from those risks, how they can protect themselves from those episodes effectively. But again, that comes down to trust that they have in their vending dealer and also any chosen supplier of that vending dealer and their ability to deliver at the moment of truth. But there's no doubt that warranty and value-add products do provide some protection in this very, very uncertain world.
Okay, so what benefits could a dealership expect in terms of its bottom line?
Well, I think margins obviously have normalized post-COVID. We had that spike during the COVID period when everyone's commercial models went north happily. Margins definitely have reduced generally in recent times. I think that there's no doubt that F&I income is still a valuable contributor to dealer profitability. It's still 35% of a typical dealer profitability. And we know that service and parts business is a major contributor to absorption, to profitability for a dealer. So in terms of warranty, first of all, I guess warranty, the opportunities to sell warranty. The UK traditionally, because most manufacturers offer quite generous OEM factory terms, and certainly with newer entrants like the Chinese brands coming into the market, tending to offer longer periods of factory warranty cover, 6, 7 years even. There's fairly limited opportunity for dealers to sell up at point of sale on new vehicles. I think extended warranty offer take up is generally quite modest, but on the used side of operation, whether you're offering a 3, a 6, a 12-month minimum used warranty period, there are huge opportunities to sell up. And there it's about matching to customer need, understanding how long the customer intends to keep their vehicle, and then ensuring obviously that there is appropriate cover for the length of the ownership period. I think as far as added value products, alloy wheel insurance, tire, cosmetic repair insurance, those are well-established products now. I think dealers recognize the earnings potential from those products. We had the intervention from the regulator last year on GAP with their concerns over value. I think those issues have been well and truly addressed now. I think they've also provided some clarity in terms of what level of value they expect from those products. So very simplistically, the regulator expects for £45 of every £100 premium paid by the customer to be returned in claims. So I think knowing and understanding that measure and then recalibrating our business and those product offerings to ensure that we strike the right balance between value to the customer and obviously commercial desirability is key. But there's no doubt that those products contribute very importantly to bottom line. But warranty service programs are still the best retention tools. We supply, as you said in your introduction, we supply warranties to many vehicle manufacturers around the globe. We work with the most niche, super prestige brands to the smallest independent used car retailers. And I would say that across our book, a typical average warranty claim is around about £900. So if you look at that £900 split between parts and labour on a 65, 35, 70, 30 parts to labour consideration, that's an awful large chunk of contribution to the bottom line. So warranty and added value products are still a really important contribution or contributors to overall dealer profitability.
Great, thank you. And for a dealership, what does a successful sales penetration rate look like?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say, I mean, this will be subjective. I would say that let's start at the bottom side. Should we say, let's start at suboptimal. So if we look at penetration by product line, probably sub 10% penetration is suboptimal. If you're achieving 10 to 25% penetration, that's par. That's kind of average, really, for the market. If you're in the 25 to 35% penetration bracket, you're doing a good job. Anything north of 35 is really strong. That's a good level of penetration. If you look at F&I penetration, look at products per deal, anything in the range of 1.2 to 1.5 products per deal is good. Again, anything north of 1.5, I think, is really strong. So, as always, I think it's important to look at sales process, the rigor of that sales process, the knowledge of the sales team, the process that's followed. As we know, everybody starts their purchase journey off online pretty well. 99% of the population start online. So basically, introducing the added value product, warranty product at the earliest stage online is a necessity, I think. Giving as much information as possible to the customer at that point is key. Embedded videos, simple explanations about the product and the values it confers. And then obviously ensuring that when the customer's in front of you, you're following the process, providing and qualifying their needs through SODAN, and also providing insurance product information documents that clearly set out why these products will benefit the customer. So it's all about relentless communication with the customer at the point of quote, point of order, point of purchase and collection of the vehicle, and then afterwards, I think as well, just reinforcing the message that these products will help protect you, will help with your budgeting of the running costs of the vehicle, will help avoid unnecessary surprises. And that's a message that customers really want to hear.
Okay, does Car Care Plan actually support the dealership in communicating the vital benefits?
It does. We have a team. I have a team of 40, and my colleague Gordon Bush has a similar sized team deployed up and down the network to support our partners, ensuring that those sales processes I outlined are followed, ensuring that best practice is established, and that our distribution partners, our dealer partners, are doing everything that the regulator would expect of them when offering these products to customers. The important thing, I think, is just making sure that there is continuity. As we know, there is change. I've outlined that change is ever present in our life. And there is change in dealer level as well. People come, people go. It's making sure that when those new people arrive in the dealership, that they are aware of those products, how to offer them to customers, how to offer them optimally, and to deliver the right kind of results. And we support them through that process, through development of bespoke training, both face-to-face and online, and support at every level through the dealership to ensure they're making the most of those opportunities.
Great. Okay, you talked about the economic plate shifting, which has kept a lot of dealer bosses awake at night. But another big change is the advent of EVs and the perception that there are less parts to fail. How does Car Care Plan actually plan to support EV ownership through its many cycles?
So another fascinating area, because EVs are, there's lots of conflicting advice about EVs. I mean, I was reading an article from the ADAC that is the German equivalent to the AA, and they were saying that, and they dominate the German market space in terms of roadside assistance, and they were saying that battery electric vehicles are actually 2.5 times less likely to break down than petrol diesel equivalents. So that seems quite compelling. And yet I was reading a What Car survey last week that was saying the AA are saying actually the converse, that 16.8% of BEVs, of owners rather, had a problem with their BEV in the last 2 years, and only 10% with ICE. So I think it reflects that there is a lot of variation in terms of the ownership experience. I think what we can say in very simplistic terms is our experience would suggest that battery electric vehicles that have been designed and built from the ground up, as it were, designed as a battery electric vehicle, not adapted from an existing petrol or diesel variant, those models have performed better in terms of reliability than those that have been adapted when they were previously a petrol or diesel variant and then replaced with a traction battery unit. So that's fairly clear. I also say that obviously there's a significant plug-in hybrid segment. Plug-in hybrids generally, because they have a more sophisticated power plant, or they have 2 power units effectively, there tend to be more problems associated with plug-in hybrids than either ICE or BEVs. Because heavy vehicles, they tend to put more pressure on braking and suspension componentry. So I'd say it's still evolving, the picture, in terms of BEVs. And like any new technology, as they become more mature, we will see the reliability improve. I think I already see quite a few comments about BEVs that have been well established in the market, like the Tesla Model 3, and customers' comments seem to be broadly positive about the reliability and the performance. So there's no doubt it will get better. But at the moment, the picture is still quite conflicted, I'd say.
Yes, okay. So a big part of EVs is the battery, and there's been a lot of in the news about battery certification systems coming in. What role do you think they will play in the general level of knowledge of EV reliance?
Yeah, I think it will help. I mean, it's like anything else. It's technology that we're all getting to grips with. I mean, we know from our mobile phone experience, our tablet experience, the battery units can fail. But there's a big difference between a battery unit in a in a Samsung or a traction battery unit in a modern, sophisticated, high-end car. So I think there's no doubt that when, especially in the used arena, when people are buying an approved used or a battery electric vehicle, having some kind of certification to underwrite, if you will, the probity of the battery unit, its longevity, I think is a really important development. I think customers will take a lot of reassurance from that. We as a warranty provider don't differentiate between battery electric vehicles, FEVs and ICE. We think that's really important. We are treating all the technologies equally, and keeping a very close eye on the things to make sure, obviously, that position is sustainable. But we believe it is. But I still think that customers, especially when the vehicle gets over 5 years, will be looking for that extra reassurance. The early indicators are that those first entrants into the market, I mentioned Tesla before, their products are coming into the market 2012, 2013. And again, anecdotally, the evidence is that the traction battery has stood the test of time. And you've got Tesla Model S's having covered huge mileages in constant operation, and the batteries are still working and recharging to acceptable levels. So again, the early signs are that the traction battery capability is good and strong. There are new entrants coming to market like NIO, who will take a different view, and they will give customers the opportunity to effectively replace the whole traction battery if they're doing long journeys. And that's a USP. And I think that's going to be very interesting to see where that dynamic changes marketplace. But still early days, I guess.
Yeah. Another big part of the wow factor with EVs is its infotainment system. Are there add-on products to protect that important part of the car system?
Yeah, we generally cover infotainment systems with all our partners. I think that's expected now these days. The fascinating thing is really just where the technology will go, because obviously more and more cars are now connected. We're really excited about that because that raises all kinds of possibilities about what it can do. Obviously, there's now the ability to handle repairs over the air, but with connected vehicles, there's a possibility to arrange parametric claims. So if we have sight that a vehicle has suffered a failure, it can expedite the claims process by us having access to that information and taking, shortening, if you like, the disbursement period with warranty claims. There's even the possibility for us to actually proactively intervene when we know a vehicle is performing not at its optimum level. It has a potential problem. We can intervene to manage a customer, steer it into a workshop to avoid obviously consequential damage. So all that is kind of brave new world, but actually it's not brave new world, it's here now. It's about having the access to those systems and being able to develop those kind of relationships with partners, which we're very keen to do.
What sort of timescale are you thinking of in that?
Well, with those kind of activities, kind of now really, because I said more and more vehicles are connected. I mean, obviously, the next leap will be autonomous vehicles, and we know that that may be sometime around 2030 and beyond. That particular development is going to take longer because I guess, there are more stakeholders. Certain things are going to be, no doubt, challenged by lawyers and courts of law to determine culpability and liability. But there's no doubt autonomous vehicles, however they get to market and when they do appear in market, are going to have a profound impact on the repair industry in the automotive sector. But in terms of connectivity and management of the customer and offering of services to customer through either entertainment systems, through increasingly now ownership apps, which we're developing more and more with our partners, being able to offer more and more products at a convenient time for the customer, that is an issue for the here and now, and something that we're very focused on with our partnerships.
Okay, so not the brave new world, but the here and now. So apps, more ownership capabilities. Anything else in terms of what you're likely to be able to buy at a dealership when you buy a car, a new or used car, in the next year, say?
So I think, if you look at warranty has been around since the 1970s. Add-on products, value-add products, I mentioned before, probably for the last 30 years. I don't see that changing massively, and most dealers, especially those that are authorized in their own right or ARs of principals, are still sticking with those products. There are some that have decided to move away perhaps from regulated products, insurance products, into non-reg. But the majority seem to be sticking with those products, and I think there's a future for them for sure. I think dealers are well aware of the benefits of those products. Anybody who has had a GAP product, and especially as I mentioned, the intervention from the FCA last year, GAP products have fallen because obviously of the intervention by the regulator and the need to calibrate the product and the pricing to deliver value, fair value to the customer. So I think GAP looks more attractive. Obviously, residuals have fallen, especially on BEVs, and the value from a GAP product is heightened, and people are aware of the benefits of GAP cover and the importance of GAP cover. I think more and more customers now are purchasing vehicles obviously through PCPs, personal lease contracts. They know that they're handing the vehicle back in 3 years' time. They know that there are return conditions attached with that contract. So products like cosmetic repair, an alloy wheel, can safeguard them being impacted by penalties when they return the vehicles, because obviously the vehicles sustain damage, etc. So I think people are aware that they can protect themselves and avoid these unnecessary, unplanned financial shocks through smart understanding and through communication with their vending dealer at the point of sale. So I don't see too much change. I think these products are still valued by the network. I think generally valued by customers. You mentioned in your introduction, Car Care Plan has been a long-standing provider of warranty and add-on products in the UK market. We're actually celebrating 50 years next year, and my hope is obviously that these products will still be around when we're celebrating our centenary. I might not be around to see it, but I really do believe that these products continue to adapt and add value, and I think the industry recognises that too.
Great. Simon, it's been fascinating talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. Viewers, thank you for watching this latest AM Supplier Insight with Car Care Plan. Goodbye.